You know, you talked about using that laser tag system, and when we started using simunition and paintball, it was just totally different. I mean, imagine that. That paper target doesn't shoot back, it doesn't move. That's the main concerns of the enemy. They're going to shoot back and they're going to move. A paper target doesn't shoot back and doesn't move. So that training is, even though live fire training, you have to do it, and you need to do it to a point where it's second nature, live fire against targets. But the real stressors should come when you start doing force-on-force training.
Yeah, that's the person or the enemy, whatever, shooting back. Just that, not the moving thing. Like, what if there was stationary targets that actually shot back? Just that alone, huge deal.
Yeah.
On the flip side, just them moving around versus not moving, huge deal.
Totally.
And then now you're missing in live fire training. And this is obviously my little theory. I don't sit in the scenario, but those two put together, bro, isn't that kind of night and day? It's a whole different training scenario.
Yeah. And we adjusted our tactics when we figured that out. Because our tactics had evolved from Vietnam. They had evolved to a point where they weren't realistic anymore. Because we spent 20 years shooting at paper targets that weren't moving. And so we developed tactics to do it very quickly, but it was against inanimate objects. The minute we started getting paintball and simunition into the game, you start realizing, oh, that's not going to work. We can't all stand in a big group like this. We need to take this into consideration. We need to take that into consideration. So we got a lot better when we started doing force-on-force training. It's the same thing to be said for jiu-jitsu and UFC, right? When I used to walk up to you and throw like a whatever punch and you would fall down, like I threw a simulated punch and you simulated falling down and I simulated broke your heart with a 2-finger punch or whatever. You know what I mean?
It's called the dim mock.
With a dim mock. Then it's like, it seemed to work good. Like, it was pretty awesome.
Yep.
But then the minute I got into a fight with some drunk wrestler and caught a beat down, I'm like, this doesn't work. And what jiu-jitsu is like, oh, you're training as hard as you can to put the person in a submission hold that then they don't die because they tap. Well, it's the same thing. I shoot you with paintball in the neck or the thighs, which is where I'm aiming, because it hurts the worst.
Okay, all right.
So when I shoot you there, you don't die, but you learn a lesson. So
how different is it? You ever played regular paintball?
Yes.
Just regular? Okay, so simunition, that's the paintball that you guys have.
Yep.
What's the difference? Is there any difference?
Simunition, you shoot it from your real weapon.
Yeah, and it goes bang.
It goes bang, not loud. It's just a little. Oh, okay. It's a little tiny bang. You have to change your magazines. It's not like we have 400 paintballs and a freaking hopper on top of your gun. You're just laying waste, right? You have to change magazines. The kind of simunition does jam a little bit, which is a bummer.
What's the what would you call it? The propellant or whatever? Like, how does it?
It's an explosion. Yeah, it's like a little explosion.
All right.
And it comes out. I don't know if it comes out like faster. It seems to. I think it's a little bit faster, and I think it hits a little bit harder. Then it's a smaller projectile, so it hurts a little bit more.
Oh, okay.
But it has paint in it, and you get a little paint on you, and it's very effective. It's the reason that we also use the laser tag system is because the paintball and the simunition is only good for 30, 40 yards. So it's good in the house, it's good in the hallway, it's good in a CQC environment, but out in the field, it's no good. It doesn't work good. You can use a little bit, like even in a mountain environment, you need to use regular paintball guns eventually so that you can get some distance and you can put down cover fire across the street. But even that's not very accurate. But then the lasers, they're good at like 300, 400, 500 yards. Well, maybe 300 yards. But that's legit. Like you can get some legit training.
And do the laser, and this is just my predicting or estimating, kind of imagining. So when you're with the lasers, don't you lose an element of stress a little bit because there's nothing actually coming and hitting you?
Yep. And what was funny was, so we use those in the desert. And if you got shot, you were going to get put down. And if you got put down, someone's going to have to carry you out. And if you're getting carried out, you're going to get dropped. You're going to get like it sucked for everyone. And so when it would actually when you would watch guys going through like an urban scenario, getting shot with paintball, they would just charge through it like they didn't care. Like the instructors, if they're going to put you down, they put you down. Mm-hmm. But when you, on the laser tag system, it had a near miss you had a speaker on your shoulder. So when you would get shot at, it would go, would make a little noise, and you knew that you were getting shot at.
Oh, that's cool.
And when you would watch guys, as those near misses started coming, they would dive for cover like they were getting shot at for real. I'm not kidding. They would dive like they were getting shot at for real, because if they got shot, everything was going to go to shit. They were going to get bogged down. Other people were going to get shot. They were going to have to get carried out, which is a total gut check. And it would happen a lot. Yeah. But you'd see those guys. It was very effective training. Yeah. But sometimes, when you're just doing a laser tag with no punishment whatsoever, you can definitely get a little bit cocky. With paintball, you don't really get too cocky because it hurts, and you don't want to get, you'll move from cover to cover. Yeah. Because you don't want to get lit up. Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. There's all those little details that you don't really think about that play such a big role in the whole scenario. Oh, yeah. The guys diving for cover in using the laser system that's when you knew, like, oh, this is really effective. Yeah. So, and you could also put down suppressive fire. Yeah. Because if you were, over in a building, I could just shoot at the building, and as soon as you started maneuvering out so you could shoot back, you'd like get near misses and you'd hide. Oh yeah. So that means I could put down cover fire while my buddy moved. Yeah. And it was totally effective. That speaker kind of makes a big difference. I didn't really think about it, where especially if you have that association, like, oh, if I get put down, there's major consequences. It sucks. Because without the speaker, because I'm not thinking speaker does all that, which obviously is more advanced than I thought. So if you're just like, oh, you only get the indicator that you got shot, right? Which is kind of like the regular laser tag that I played when I was young. Yeah. They don't know near misses, nothing like that. So you think, oh yeah, cover fire won't work that good, because part of basically the whole concept of cover fire is you being scared of those bullets coming, even though they don't hit you. But then if you got that speaker buzzing in you, but laser doesn't like hit the building, because a bullet hitting the building is like kind of a big thing, right? That'll get your head down. Yeah. 100%. So cover fire, in a way, potentially is way more effective in real fire for all, because it's everything. Yes. Yes, and that was one thing that was even with the laser tag, you'd still see guys do like stuff where you're like, hey, would you have really done that? Yeah, I wonder. Because you got shot 19 times or whatever, And so it was a little hard to simulate the fear of death. Yeah. But I'll tell you what, getting buddy carried or having to buddy carry someone out for 6 kilometers in the desert on night vision, it sucked. Yeah, and guys hated it. And so they would do everything they could to stay alive and accomplish the mission. Yeah, that feels like a solid little like proxy. Yeah. It was a solid little proxy. I mean, obviously you can't shoot the guys and kill them. Right. But man, it's you don't want to hump someone out in the desert. It's freaking terrible. Especially someone like you. Yeah. And sometimes guys would, a task unit would have 12 down men. It would just be awful. Like if the leadership wasn't making good decisions and they weren't covered and moving, and things weren't, simple and clear, and they didn't prioritize, you would get 12, 13, 14. And sometimes, we'd kill so many of them that it'd be like, all right, you guys are done. Just walk back. You failed. Oh, yeah. And that's when you're getting reloaded. And now you got a whole nother stress, right? Because they don't want to fail, of course. Yeah. So it'd be a bummer. But it was really good. It was great to be able to be a part of that training. Yeah, that's cool how it evolved into like that close to realistic. Yeah, those paintballs, like especially if the simulation hurt more than like paintball kind of hurts. Like if simulation hurts too. Yeah, I'd say it's probably about the same. Yeah, probably about the same. Bro, I got whacked like a couple times, like in the side. Yeah, and I wasn't wearing like padding or nothing, only just the face one. Yeah, and it leaves like a straight up wound, like on your thing, like a welt or whatever. Yeah, that's something. It's not nothing. I'll tell you that. Thoroughness, Realism in German training methods is one aspect of their general demand for thoroughness. German officers in particular, and the enlisted men as well, are taught to regard themselves as men engaged in a highly skilled and highly honorable profession, and to take pride in acquiring the details of military techniques. To encourage this point of view, soldiers are put as little as possible on fatigue work and non-military labors which are performed by civilians. And the last thing we'll talk about from this document is marksmanship. German training has tended to put emphasis on volume of fire rather than accuracy. An observer believes that their ability to concentrate fire at vital point is superior to our own, but that their standards of marksmanship are inferior. However, a German article in late 1941 makes the point that volume of mechanical fire will not replace accurate individual shooting, and that sharpshooters can perform invaluable tactical missions. So they did concentrate on volume of fire, and they concentrate on marksmanship, the basic skills of shooting. And there you have it. And as you can see, many of those principles are the same principles that are taught in the U.S. military, and really the same principles that are taught by any sort of leadership education. Right? And that's why it's very strange to read this document and recognize that these principles are being utilized by the most evil, or at least one of the top evil empires to have ever existed. And yet they're talking about taking care of their people and making sure everyone understands the why. Mm-hmm. And you can see, as I mentioned earlier, that while these principles were implemented down the chain of command, clearly at the top, these principles didn't exist at all. A tyrannical leader of Hitler, massive ego, driven by his own insecurities, driven by paranoia, lack of trust, like all these things that this book talks about, Hitler didn't have them. And that's why you end up in this disaster and this horrific, the horrific atrocities that the Nazis created, and the horrific atrocities of the war, which you know you were talking about earlier. I kind of made fun of you about, like, oh, the world didn't exist before I was here, right? It's kind of inconceivable in some ways to understand the broad absolute horror of World War II and the Holocaust and the deaths, the woundings, the loss of life, the destroyed communities. It's kind of hard to really truly understand that those things occurred at all. It can be very, very difficult to understand that. They seem inconceivable, I guess. If you truly look at them, it seems inconceivable. If you think about the millions of people, millions of people dying. It's hard to understand $1 million. It's hard to understand, a million people going to at a big giant arena. There's only 100,000 people there. Picture that times 10. And that's there you have 1 million. And each one of those people is an individual with a family and dreams and a life and thoughts. And when you start talking about the scale of death and destruction in World War II, it's hard to conceive what that really means. But it did happen. And we have to study history and have to study our enemies and what their thought processes were to make sure that history does not repeat itself. With that, we appreciate y'all listening to the podcast. If you want to support the podcast and support yourself at the same time, might as well support some good causes out there, right?
Yes.
Let's support some good.
It's true.
Let's make the world a better place. Let's start with ourselves.
Yes.
Make yourself better.
Yeah.
Physically better. Mentally better. spiritually better. Let's do all those things.
Yep. It's true.
Take care of yourself on every front.
Yep.
That's what we need to do.
Yep.
And then you can take care of other people. Then you can help other people. So if you want to help yourself from a fuel, and I'm not talking about gasoline for your car or maybe diesel for your truck. I'm talking about for you. You need fuel.
Yeah. Similar concept.
Similar concept. You want to get good fuel.
Yep.
You kind of want to get the best fuel.
Yes, sir.
You might want to get for yourself some Jocko fuel.
It's true. Yeah, it's very true. As I keep reminding you off air that I am on the path, kind of strict.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like kind of legitimately strict. Ever since COVID started, I put on some pounds. Some good, some bad. And, varying levels of success in going back to, to where I was before that. Also, I just got back from the motherland, Hawaii.
Yeah.
And you know how that can go sometimes. But nonetheless, the point is I'm on the path. So routine, back in full swing, 100%.
Bro, COVID was like 3 years ago.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it was. Like I said.
Let's make a recommendation. Don't go off the path for 3 years, everybody.
I would say this. So I was
Is it 2 years? It's coming up on 3 years, maybe?
2 years.
2 years, right.
2.5, I don't know, something like that.
But so it's like, I'm off the path because of COVID.
Well,
2.5 years ago.
Well, jiu-jitsu stops for a long time. The routine jiu-jitsu,
Right.
okay, we got little pockets here and there.
Yeah.
I get it, and this is true. But the routine stops. I still can work out at the house or whatever, but cardio goes way down. Sometimes like off the grid, let's face it. So I'm just lifting, so boom, I'm putting
You
on
just
weight.
put yourself on full report, bro.
Maybe someone else out there can relate to the realities of situations like this. Nonetheless, boom, yeah, sure, I got back on the path, but I never really got back to where it was. And after a while, we just got tired of that one, So we just went more strict. That's what I'm saying. But there are certain elements in there that have always been on the path, especially with the fuel, with the Jocko fuel part of it, part of the point as well. So.
Well, thank God you had Jocko fuel, because apparently you were just wandering around. Never mind off the path. You're off the reservation.
No, I know. And the way I'm putting it is more like I just freaking just let myself go. I didn't let myself go, but I put on like a good 10, 15 pounds, which isn't. Yeah, I know it's not like night and day kind of a scenario, and that's probably why I didn't get back right away, because it wasn't like that big of a thing, but it was still a nagging thing, I feel like.
Check.
You see what I'm saying?
You drinking milk? I'm
drinking milk, yes. And actually, I just got on this protocol, which I always knew about, but sometimes it takes a little bit to implement. Where if with your diet, if you just control for like the protein, getting enough protein, whatever your workout program kind of requires or whatever, and then you fill in the rest of the macros accordingly. Depends on where you want to go, what your goal is or whatever. That's like a really good way to stay on it. See what I'm saying? Like because if you don't control for protein and you don't get enough protein, you don't build your muscle the way you want to do it. You risk overtraining. You do all this stuff, or whatever. Nonetheless, it's a good way to do it.
Yeah.
So
you got to get that protein.
Yeah.
100%. How much are you getting?
1
gram per.
No, like 0.6.
0.6 grams per?
Yeah.
Bro,
I think that's like
you need to up it, man.
Yeah.
You need to up those numbers.
From
bro.
what I understand, I mean,
no
obviously.
wonder you're losing weight. You're starving to death over there, bro. You're losing muscle mass.
No, bro. No, it depends on what you read and where you read it. It's going to go anywhere from like 0.5 all the way up to like 1.
Oh, is this per pound or per kilogram?
No, per pound. For real. Yeah.
Okay.
It depends. So I don't know. Hey, look, that's your journey to look into that kind of stuff and figure out what's right for you, bro. Okay, so let's say I weigh 220, and I'm taking. You want me to freaking eat 220 grams of protein in a day? That's what you're saying? I don't know.
That's 10 milks.
I love milk. I like milk a lot, but bro, I could 10.
Yeah.
Even if you break it up, 3 milkshakes per meal. I don't know.
Okay, we don't recommend that.
I'm not saying yes. I'm not saying no.
We
saying
like milk,
I don't
but not
know.
that's a little much.
Currently, I'm not at 10. No, I'm at 1, sometimes 2. Actually, but mine are doubles.
Yes, or mine.
Yeah.
I only have doubles.
Okay, yeah, there you go. Boom. Nonetheless, we're on the program. 100%.
Check.
Also, good news with the energy drinks, if you didn't know already.
Yeah. Real good news.
All the old good news is still there. Healthy for you energy drink. No sugar. Sugar is more evil than you think, by the way.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's evil, so you're not catching me on that one.
I know.
It's as evil as I think.
If you were to, you know how, like, I'm sure there was some point in your life where you, like, looked into sugar a little bit deeper than maybe you do daily, and then realized, oh, shoot, this is kind of, there's some issues with sugar.
Sugar's evil.
You could start looking back into it and probably find some more stuff. Yeah. That's how.
So you're saying it is even more evil than even I thought. And I thought it was pretty damn evil.
That is my contention, yes. And good news, like I said, old good news, but good news. No sugar in this one. It's all healthy stuff. So boom, that's still the case. But the additional good news, we got a reformulated tastes in there.
For all of them.
Oh yeah, all of them.
All the Discipline Go tastes good as hell now.
Yeah.
Like it will. We're gonna win on taste.
Yeah,
we're gonna win on taste. Tastes better than the other. What do we call them? Energy drinks.
Energy drinks
tastes better than the other ones.
Straight up better. Yeah, try that.
And still no sugar.
Yeah.
Still no chemicals in there.
Yeah.
Just good for you. And now it tastes good too.
It's true.
The other flavors, you might have had one or two flavors that you liked, but the other ones you now you'll like them all.
Yeah.
You'll love one or two of them.
Yep.
That's the difference. That's what we just did.
Yeah.
And there was a few before that you hated. You won't even hate any of them.
Yeah.
Now you're gonna like them all. You're gonna love two or three of them, and you're gonna be good to go. Yep. You're gonna find your little thing.
Yeah, man. It's true. It's all true.
JockoFuel.com.
Yep. Don't forget a lot of people. We haven't actually talked about it. Whatever the joint stuff. That's a big deal. Because you can be on any program, but yeah, if your joints, your knees start giving out, shoulders, all this kind of stuff, right, you're kind of off the program a little bit. So,
involuntarily off the program.
So yeah, keep that in mind. You want overall health. You want to be able to keep going.
Prioritize that.
Yeah. Endurance. Durable. Be durable. That helps. Big time. Some vitamins in there. Vitamin D. Cold Ore. Immunity. By just checking. JockoFuel.com.
JockoFuel.com. Go to Wawa. Get some drinks. We got a ready to drink coming, Milk coming. Have you seen that yet? Have you tasted it yet?
Nope.
It's hella good.
Yeah, perfect mix.
Yeah, it's so good.
Do they add like you know how, for example, I'll put like half a banana in there or something like that. Do they add anything else in there?
No, it's
just
milk.
Straight up milk formulated. All right. Perfect ratios.
You could throw a banana in there if you're feeling it.
Scientifically proven perfect ratios. Okay. All right, it's good.
Go to Wawa, get the drinks. Go to Vitamin Shop, get this stuff. If you're in Texas, go to HEB. Go to HEB rolling hot and get yourself some milk. That's what I'm saying. Yep. Also, get some Origin Hunt. OriginUSA.com. You can get you can get jeans, boots. You know what you can get, but you can get stuff that's made in America, not stuff that's literally made in a tyrannical country like the one we just talked about.
Yeah.
It's a little bit different, but the principles are kind of there. Similar. Let's not support that. Let's support America where people are free. How about that? That's a good idea. OriginUSA.com. Get yourself some boots, jeans, some jiu-jitsu gear, gi.
Oh, yeah. It's true. Also, you want to represent why you're on this path like I think a lot of us do pretty much every day. JockoStore.com. Shirts, hats, hoodies on there as well. I know it's summertime. I get it. But at some point, it's going to be fall, then winter. We've got some hoodies on there. Discipline equals freedom. That's what you're representing. The Jocko Store stuff. The Short Locker, by the way. I don't know that you've ever told me your assessment of the Shirt Locker in any thorough way.
See, I like it. There's my assessment.
If you don't know what that is, subscription situation, you get a new shirt every month. Creative, they're different designs. Pretty much every single one has been a success. Varying levels of, there are sporadic outliers that might be too hard for them.
There's a couple of objections over a couple of
objections. The conceptual element behind them might have went
over some people's heads.
Or maybe hit them too hard.
Or hit them too hard right in the face.
Yeah, a little bit. That's what it seemed like.
Shortlocker.com. Is that a thing?
No.
No, it's just JockoStore.com. I'm just making up my own .coms.
JockoStore.com. You click. This is a big thing. Click. Shirt Locker. Boom.
Okay,
check it out.
check.
You can see some previews too. That's the thing. Look, I'm not going to give it all away. as far as what designs are what or whatever, but you can see some previews, some hints of like what the next one is, what some past ones were. Also, if you're a member, you can buy any of the past ones, by the way.
That's pretty legit.
Yeah. So, you thought you missed out on one, don't worry, you can grab
brought
one.
it back.
But you can bring it right back. You want your neighbor, because this happens a lot, where you're going to be wearing one and someone will be like, bro, where'd you get that shirt? Like the one that says good, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have some good shirts on the store. Cool.
Now we got a better one. Or a different one, we'll say.
Slightly, and it's like, it's cool. It looks really good. And I got a literal phone call saying, who got that shirt? Where can we get that shirt? My wife wants it. You sign up, you can get your wife one, your neighbor one, whatever you like. See what I'm saying?
Check. That's jockostore.com. Subscribe to the podcast. Check out the Jocko Underground. We just recorded a couple episodes of that, talking interesting information. Talk about keeping our own little platform. We have our own little platform. We don't own this platform that you're listening to, unless you're in Jocko Underground right now. But we don't own iTunes. We don't own Spotify. We don't own YouTube. We get kicked off any of those. I don't know. We talked about the Nazis today. Will that get us kicked off?
Oh, yeah. Huh?
I mean, who knows?
Yeah, there's like terms that get you like...
Get flagged.
Kind of flagged, yeah, huh? Yeah, they're for real art.
Yeah.
In fact, it's so apparently...
We've been flagged before.
Oh, yeah.
We've been flagged a few times. And that's kind of what prompted this JockoUnderground.com. Because we don't know when we're going to get kicked off for saying something.
Yeah.
So... if you want to support that, $8.18 a month, we appreciate it. Check out the YouTube channel. Check out Psychological Warfare. Check out FlipsideCanvas.com. Dakota Meyer making awesome stuff to hang on your wall. I've written a bunch of books. Check them out. You know what they are. Echelon Front. Talked about that a little bit today. Leadership Lab, FTX. We got the muster coming up. So I think that's the next one is in Atlanta. Hotlanta, October 12th to the 14th. We sold out all these things. So... if you want to come, get there early, register. Go to extremeownership.com or that's echelonfront.com. If you want to do online training, you want to go through some courses, you want to understand this stuff at a deeper level, go to extremeownership.com and take some courses, some online courses. I'll be sitting there telling you what's up. You can come and ask me questions. extremeownership.com. And if you want to do your duty from a charity perspective, check out Mark Lee's mom, Mama Lee. She's got a great charity organization. And if you want to donate to her organization or you want to get involved, go to americasmightywarriors.org. And you've also got heroesandhorses.org. Micah, he's up there in the wilderness. They're wrapping up their course right now, 41 days out in the bush, reconnecting with your soul. That's for veterans. Check it out, heroesandhorses.org. And if you want to see us on Twitter or the Gram or the Facebook, Echo and I are on there. But look, just be careful. Fair warning. The algorithm's there. The brainwashing out. We said people getting brainwashed by the Nazis.
Yep.
You're getting brainwashed too when you're staring at that little screen. Don't let it happen. Watch out for the algorithm. And finally, salute to the greatest generation. The World War II veterans that fought against the Nazi power, the tyranny, the oppression. The greatest generation that saved freedom in our world. So a salute to them. And also thanks to the soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines that are out there right now as we speak, holding the line. Thank you to all of you. And the same goes to our police and law enforcement, firefighters, paramedics, EMTs, dispatchers, correctional officers, border patrol, Secret Service, and all the first responders that keep us safe every day. Thank you for holding the line here at home. And everyone else out there, remember this idea. Remember to begin your day with a mission. Begin the day with a mission. And if you approach every day and you approach every task as if it was a battle, eventually you can approach battles like they're a task. That's what we've got for today. Every day is a battle. Go get in the fight. And until next time, this is Echo and Jocko out.